Instructions. In the event of an earthquake, stay calm. Look out for falling debris. Once the shaking stops, exit the building in a calm and orderly manner and assemble at the muster point where you will receive further instructions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Thank you. We invite you to sit. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps and heads of missions for Trinidad and Tobago, the Mayor of Arima, His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Professor Rosemary Antoine, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, and other members of the Campus Executive Management Team, directors and heads of departments, members of the private and public sectors, esteemed sponsors, distinguished awardees, specially invited guests, staff and students of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus, members of the media. A very pleasant good afternoon, and it is my honor to be your Master of Ceremonies and guide over the next few hours for this, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus Principals Research Awards opening ceremony. Permit me to express the feedback from the Office of the Minister of Finance. Today is Thursday, and in the life of a Minister of Government and Cabinet member, there are certain obligations that require you to stay in seat until the Prime Minister has dismissed you. Notwithstanding, the Minister of Finance has confirmed that he will be here in time for his presentation. He is our featured speaker this afternoon, and I'm sure you will be waiting with bated breath for his focus on areas that are currently receiving top of mind in the national discourse. The University of the West Indies states that its mission is to advance learning, create knowledge, and foster innovation for the positive transformation of the Caribbean and the wider world. And we acknowledge with pleasure the arrival of the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Colm Imbert MP. Good afternoon, Minister, and welcome. Since its establishment in 1948, the faculty, staff, and students of the UWI have proudly aimed to do just that. Indeed, UWI's strategic plan clearly lists innovation and entrepreneurship as part of its developmental agenda, in addition to teaching and learning. A key underpinning of this challenging objective is research. For the last 64 years, the St. Augustine Campus has excelled in its research activities. The St. Augustine team continues to work with government, industry, and business locally and internationally to turn ideas into practicable and transformational solutions which are essential for continued growth and development. So this evening, we'll take time to salute some of these researchers. And tomorrow, at the Teaching and Learning Complex, we'll throw an intense and interactive spotlight on their groundbreaking work. So you're in the fortunate position of getting the preview before tomorrow's continuation of this major event. I now invite Professor Rosemary Antoine, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, to deliver the welcome remarks for this opening ceremony. Principal.
Honorable Minister of Finance, the Colm member, welcome back home, as I was saying to you when you came in. All of our excellencies here with us this evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and special mention to our awardees this evening. I think this might be the hottest ticket on the campus from the attendance, certainly lots of buzz, so I'm so happy to see so many of you here this evening. The University of the West Indies' dynamic and diverse research and development agenda is perhaps the best kept secret in the region. It is a partially hidden treasure and pathway to development, and I say partially hidden because those who drive the engines of the region's development, the governments, international institutions, do in fact know and have relied on the UE for at least 60 of its over 75 years. We do a lot of work behind the scenes for governments and regional international organizations, and we enjoy key partnerships. Yet, the average person on the street may not be aware of our impact. I'm also not sure that steady reliance equates to full appreciation of this treasured asset. Our beloved regional institution, the UE, was specially founded to fuel and drive development. So there has always been a heavy focus on research. It had to be. Few universities in the world have this birthday distinction, and it is research that will give our progress as a country its wings. This is why I am so pleased to welcome you to the Principal's Research Awards 2024, and it's our second year celebrating our exceptional research. And this year we're also pleased, and as I mentioned, Principal's Awards, we also have with us, sitting quietly in the second row, our former principal, Principal Brian Copeland. The idea behind this initiative is to recognize and reward our many outstanding researchers who do such important work for the country and region, to honor those who continue to uphold the excellence of our university, and to provide an opportunity to showcase their critical work. Importantly, too, it is to incentivize and promote research. Our campus continues to be at the forefront of exciting research, and I see my task as principal to make this world-class work that we do here more visible. And as we improve our visibility with media columns like UE on the Ground and UE Scientists Speak, and outreach in rural communities such as UE on the Move, and exhibitions and award ceremonies like these, as we get out there, we are beginning to see the fruits. The movers and shakers are beginning to not only notice us, but to come to us, such as a leading multinational company like Yara International, a platinum sponsor today, who read about Dr. Eudoxie's and Dean Woodvera's innovative research on soil in the newspaper and came to us. And we recently signed an MOU with Yara and Tringen. Research, like good food, is meaningful in of itself, but more is expected, more is needed. For research to be for all, our theme today, Research must be grounded in relevance and meaning. It must serve communities. Few, if any, transformational developments in the region did not involve the UWI. Our university remains in the top 3% ranked in the world, and this is primarily because of our research. We have accomplished many significant milestones, including our designation as the lead university to achieve a climate-smart world by the International Association of Universities. Further, literally from the heaven and stars to the earth and the seas and the soil, this campus is fully engaged. Perhaps the only campus with such breadth and depth of research. And to give you a bird's eye view of what our researchers have been doing, initiatives range from a multi-million-dollar project to mitigate flooding, to work on sargassum, to our leading in food security. Of course, we have the only Faculty of Agriculture among all the campuses. And not all of our research will be mentioned this evening, but the diverse, impactful work continues. This year, the protagonist of the Judy Worm is retired, but work in marine sciences and blue economy continues. As we speak, our researchers are also investigating the role of mathematics in music, TASA certification, how to make scorpion pepper hotter, after, of course, UWI being the one to identify the scorpion itself and unleash it to the world, how to prevent pests eating our yam, and best recipes for eating the African snail, converting a menace to a delicacy. How about research designing AI instruments and now well-known roofing compounds and sealants uniquely suited to the Caribbean, or using IT to make promotion paradigms more efficient? The work in health alone is phenomenal. We have done pioneering work on the COVID-19 pandemic. Professor Carrington was our top researcher last year, and she has continued that groundbreaking work on genome sequencing. But we also led in research on the mental health effects of the COVID pandemic and climate change. My researchers are also inquiring into not just the why of diabetes, but how to prevent it. And polycystic ovaries, another winner from last year. Not to mention path-breaking work on antibiotic resistance, a huge issue for this generation's health. Alternative energy and sustainable futures are clearly significant with work on carbon capture initiatives. As we look on at the horrors of the disasters in Spain from the flooding, there's surely some comfort that we at the UWI have been researching climate change for over 40 years. From the sophisticated to the simple, like using grasses for hillside stabilization, as well as wastewater innovations. And when I said heavens and stars, I was not exaggerating. The Dean Ramlal engineering team with Mexico astronomy collaboration, and the ambassadors here this evening, analyzes the data to monitor coastal inundation, mangrove monitoring, land degradation, and other environmental impacts. Not to mention the work of Professor Hack, the only professor of astronomy in the region. This UWI has also been at the forefront in exposing through meticulous research and analysis the double standards of the legal frameworks that govern the global financial sector and disproportionately demonizes and penalizes developing so-called third world countries, doing key work toward the creation of a neutral international tax treaty to level the playing field. Multidisciplinary approaches are also valuable. And this is why, for example, we now have an MSc in climate studies, multidisciplinary one. So I've said a lot about research for all, but our theme also highlights research by all. And it's not just the staff. Our students are also researchers, part of research teams and individual research. For the second year in a row, St. Augustine is receiving the award, the L'Oreal UNESCO for Women in Science Young Talents Program for Caribbean Region 2024, won by Gillian Rowe. And we should not let the gender dimension of research, especially in the hardcore sciences, go unnoticed, such as the Women in Science for Hope Foundation. I know Leticia Anderson has also just won another big award from the UN. I want to underscore that research is not just a highfalutin academic endeavor. It can be grassroots. Welcome, Minister Hines. When Spree Simon decided to inquire into why that old oil drum sung so when you pong it this way and sound different if you bend it so, that was research. Isn't that so, Principal Copeland? Paving the way for untold joy and upliftment for millions and a source of national pride and $1 million industry. Similarly, Mr. Angostura didn't just wake up one morning and find the secret recipe for bitters under his pillow. That curiosity, that laser focus and creativity, that burning desire to improve your space defines great research. And so I want to highlight a special, very exciting award that we introduced this year, the Hurricane and Earthquake Alleviation Research Award, or HARE, as we call it. And it came to me after that last hurricane, which served as a reminder that we all have a role to play in alleviating and mitigating the disastrous effects of hurricanes and earthquakes in our very vulnerable region. It's very special because it's the only one so far that's open to the entire public. And we were a bit nervous, but we actually got a lot of applications. And I was really happy to see that, including from school children. And we can do more of that. The Academy can harness and refine and make such endeavors more productive. Our second new award is for the most promising early career researcher to incentivize our young emerging researchers. Research can sometimes be intangible and intuitive, as those who witnessed the recent Dancing with Steel by DCFA, connecting community and culture and idealism, can attest. Researchers like Eric Williams birthed our independence and sovereignty, igniting countries in Africa, India, and beyond, work that is still celebrated today, told the truth about capitalism and slavery and colonialism. So too the reparations movement, now yielding financial fruit and international attention from research started over 40 years ago by our own Vice Chancellor Beckles. But all is not hunky-dory. Even as I congratulate my old campus, UWI Caveville, on the launch of the green car using fuel from sargassum and rum, I cannot help bemoan lost opportunities here in Trinidad and Tobago through myopia or complacency. You may not know that that research started right here on the St. Augustine Campus with a small grant from our RDI fund. In fact, Dr. Legina Henry, the innovator, is a Trini, but was compelled to go to Barbados for more fertile ground. Similarly, my campus awaits a cannabis license. There's multidisciplinary interest in research from FST, FMS, FHA, and even law. We have been the last to get one, although ironically, I was the chair of the CARICOM Marijuana Commission. And just to let you know that while the new law may not be ready, the old law, Minister, I'm hoping you will send the message, does permit exceptions, even under the old law for research. So this theme, research by all and research for all, speaks not just to actual researchers, it also speaks to the enabling environment. And this leads me to the issue of champions. Our mission cannot be insular. It is a collective endeavor. We can't do it alone. We need to encourage a culture of inquiry, of striving to strike out and create indigenous solutions to the problems around us. We must promote a national focus on a research and developmental agenda. And though we may lack the large endowments and so on, we continue to work, and the Academy deserves support. The country and region deserves the opportunity to demonstrate its full potential. I want to emphasize that our thrust towards commercialization of our research really stems from our strategic plan, the Revenue Revolution, which aims toward greater sustainability, and the Minister will be speaking on this. I believe we are on a firm path to harness its research and expertise to develop products that have commercial value that will not only benefit our institution, but also the country and region. And I think we all know by now our sealant products, sealants and marine sealants and roofing compounds, which are now on the market regionally, created right in our labs, and they won the Innovation Award last year. The cocoa factory has been built, not just for great chocolate, but world-renowned gene bank and innovations in breeding, molecular sequencing, the development of high-grade cocoa nibs, as well as supporting our farmers in rebuilding the cocoa sector with a more resilient, climate-smart industry. Natural pesticides, biophyte and biostimulant OJA01 were launched by FST and FHA researchers working together. I think the reason they haven't won an award is because one of the team is none other than our Director of Research, Prof. Saravanakumar. Additionally, our work on antibiotic resistance could be the next big thing in pharmaceuticals. If we can cultivate the type of support and partnerships similar to other countries that prioritize research and development. Not just the sciences, by the way. FHE has launched a Humankind project, a multimedia studio, harnessing the expertise in that faculty, and of course, documenting and data are key to effective research. St. Augustine leads the UE in patent formation. This is expensive and needs focus, commitment, and investment. Certainly not a get-rich-quick scheme. And there should be continuity. So yes, we are very pleased that the genome sequencing project from last year has now received funding, partnering with government, PAHO, WHO for the One Health Surveillance Project and Laboratory. These are important wins, but others fall by the wayside. I would like to see, for example, the late Professor Chedi's instrumental work on mosquitoes continuing as we go forward. We can do even more to contribute to our country's GDP. We do a lot now, which may not be fully recognized, and our research into the economic impacts of research already shows huge rewards simply by having a successful university, contributes to the GDP, and pays back national investment in tertiary education tenfold and more. The leading countries around the world have demonstrated the value of investing in research and development, which fuels creativity, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. Relevant research propels society forward, and percentage GDP invested is key. Most successful countries in the world understand this formula and invest in RDI. South Korea, for example, invests as much as 5.21%. Similarly, with private companies, there's a direct relationship between the amount spent on RDI and success. Amazon, Apple, Huawei, they are listed in the top 5. So we need the private sector to recognize and grasp these opportunities for their own development as well. We must move away from the security blanket of an overly emphasized retail sector and move more assertively into investment into research, development, and innovation. And of course, that's one of the reasons we are having this ceremony as well. We are well positioned to assist the private sector with tried and tested methods and of course, the multidisciplinary initiatives. The recent partnerships with the private sector, such as with National Flour Mills, and thank you for being here, Yara, Tringen, and more, are very encouraging, and we would like more companies to come on board, more champions. And of course, we know that the leading industries in the world, whether it be Silicon Valley or pharmaceuticals, position themselves with universities. We need those big grants as well. The innovations that result from our researchers' hard work and commitment, often with limited resources, is outstanding. What could we not do with better resources? The establishment of the government's Research and Development Impact Fund 10 years ago was crucial to supporting the development of our country and made a significant difference. As we near the end of the fund's journey, we see an opportunity for renewal and growth. and we invite all stakeholders to engage us more. Our doors are open. So I started this research festival because I believe strongly in the power of research to fuel development. And I have an unshaken belief in the capacity and brilliance of my colleagues in propelling a research agenda to drive that initiative. Here at the UWI St. Augustine, we continue to do our part to address our society's evolving challenges. In the last 2 listings of top science researchers, this campus had as many as 20 of our science researchers listed. For example, in the Elsevier listing of the top 2% authors within their field. Tremendous. This mirrors another prestigious Stanford listing of top science researchers. We also continue to dominate the ORRTT Awards, the national awards. This year it was Professor Patrick Hossain, who has the most patents in the university. And last year's Professor Zumaharan of the CRC and Professor Imbert. But many of our other researchers are recognized internationally. Dr. Craig Ramlal, serving as one of only 35 people in the world on a United Nations AI panel that are formulating the AI guidelines for all of humanity and the Global Digital Compact. Professor Mike Koo on the UNESCO, Professor Wodivera on the International Science Council, Dr. Kim Malulu on the UN's Digital Public Infrastructure Safeguards Initiative, and Dr. Michael Ford, the first Caribbean person to serve as president of the Commonwealth Chemistry Federation. So now for the thank yous. Yes, I think that deserves some applause. Today's event would not have been possible without the efforts of the planning and award committees, the chair and members, so I extend my sincere gratitude. A special thank you to our wonderful Director of Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Duraisamy Saravanakumar. You deserve your full name today, sir. We usually call him Prof. Sarah. And his entire office, as well as our hard-working marketing and communications department, who worked with my office to make this event a success. I also want to thank the Campus Committee for Graduate Studies, which includes our Deputy Deans for Graduate Studies and Research from all faculties, our institute's head and directors, as well as our Selection Committee, led by Professor Naidu and Professor Meeks of the Global Campus. So I didn't choose the awards, just so you know. I thank all researchers who submitted their work for consideration. A special thank you to our generous sponsors who constantly go above and beyond to support us. And personal thanks to the Honorable Colm, Minister of Finance, for graciously agreeing to be our featured speaker. I'm supposed to make a conference announcement now. So the research conference, which will take place tomorrow at the Teaching and Learning Center, is going to be a great event where the awardees will present their work, and we will roll out the process map for the development of the UWI St. Augustine research agenda. So please do attend, and of course, congrats again to the awardees. You've made us very proud. Research elevates countries, research builds societies. I hope we can continue that journey together. And as principal, I certainly pledge to continue increasing the visibility of your tremendous work. And now, it is with great excitement that we launch this year's Research Conference booklet, showcasing the groundbreaking work of our winners. Some video is supposed to happen.
Congratulations once again, and thank you, Professor Rosemary Antoine, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, for delivering welcoming remarks and, of course, presenting the e-launch of the Principal's Research Awards Conference booklet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to announce and present the 2024 Principal's Research Awards. As we celebrate the remarkable achievements of our researchers this evening, allow me to share the rigorous criteria that guided the selection of this evening's awardees. Over the past 5 years, these distinguished researchers have demonstrated extraordinary dedication, setting a high standard not only for our university, but for the broader research community as well. All the nominations this year were truly outstanding, and I've been assured they sparked no end of discussion amongst our evaluation committee in arriving at their final decisions. The task was challenging, but our awardees were carefully evaluated based on 4 key criteria. First, they have consistently published research papers in reputed high-quality journals, including significant contributions to books and book chapters. These publications highlight their work's impact not only on a regional, but also on a global scale. Second, we considered the extramural research grants they secured. These grants underscore the confidence that external bodies place in their work, furthering the reach and scope of their research. Third, our awardees have gained professional recognition from national, regional, and international bodies, affirming their substantial contributions they've made to their fields. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, we assessed the direct impact of their research, whether it has driven scientific advancement or contributed to the well-being of communities, environmental sustainability, and progress locally, regionally, and globally. Indeed, this evening's awardees embody research excellence in every sense of the word, and it is our privilege to acknowledge their contributions to both knowledge and society. So please, join me as we collectively celebrate their remarkable achievements with a well-deserved and enthusiastic round of applause and congratulations in advance. And now we turn our attention to the heart of the evening, the presentation of the Principals Research Awards. And we begin with the awards for the Most Outstanding Faculty Researcher. I will first invite our presenter on stage, and once you've made your way on stage, you will be invited to a particular marker point on stage, and then the awardee of the faculty or department. This is a little bit like the Queen's Park Savannah stage, if only that some entrances will be from this side, mainly our presenters, and our recipients and awardees will make their way from stage left, as in presenter stage left. Make life easy for yourself. If you're receiving an award, pass that way. I first invite His Worship, the Mayor of Arima, Mr. Baliram Maharaj of ADM Import-Export Distributors Limited, and our bronze sponsor to present this award, Most Outstanding Faculty Researcher. Ladies and gentlemen, the first award will be presented to Professor Michelle Maiku of the Faculty of Engineering. Professor Michelle Maiku's research on climate adaptation and urban resilience for small island developing states is designed to translate scientific findings into actionable strategies that improve conditions on the ground. By providing evidence-based insights to governments, local authorities, and community organizations, Professor Maiku's work supports decision-makers in implementing policies that enhance resilience against climate-related risks. Her contributions to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reports particularly the Small Islands chapter exemplifies how scientific research can support policy development for vulnerable regions. This work has informed international negotiations and local adaptation strategies directly impacting communities affected by climate change. Her involvement in Island Societies and Environment Project and collaborations with global organizations like the United Nations further underscore her commitment to apply research findings in ways that strengthen resilience and support sustainable development in SIDS. It is her belief that scientific knowledge should extend beyond academia, driving real-world change and improving lives at the community level. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Michelle Maiku. Loads of photo opportunities for all other recipients. And once you've done so, then you may make your exit. Congratulations, Professor Maiku, and thank you, Your Worship. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Ms. Diana Francis of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, also one of our bronze sponsors, to present the award for the Faculty of Food and Agriculture. The next award will be presented to Dr. Ronald Roopnarine, a senior lecturer in the Department of Food Production. Dr. Ronald Roopnarine's research focuses on helping Caribbean small island developing states both become more resilient to disasters as well as manage resources sustainably. Key projects undertaken include reusing wastewater to help solve water shortages in the Caribbean, and studying how climate change affects food safety to improve farming resilience. He has also led efforts to build skills in the region, such as creating training guides for efficient water use in farming and ecosystem management, funded by organizations such as the FAO and UNDP. His role on the high-level experts and leaders panel on water and disasters and other international panels highlights his contributions to reducing water-related disaster risks globally. He is committed to addressing significant environmental challenges in SIDS and offering practical solutions that could benefit communities and guide policymakers in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ronald Roopnarine. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Roopnarine, and thank you, Ms. Francis. I now invite Dr. Subesh Ramjatan, representing bronze sponsor, House of Marketing Limited, to present the next two awards. For the Faculty of Humanities and Education, the award will be presented to Professor Jerome Delisle. Professor Jerome Delisle's research is reshaping Caribbean education through a focus on equity, inclusive policy, and innovative assessment practices. His recent work on gendered educational outcomes in the region addresses myths and realities in academic engagement so as to reduce dropout rates and improve inclusivity in schooling. He has contributed to advancing mixed methods research, educational evaluation, and policy development in education across the region. Professor Delisle led the SCA Concordat Review in 2021 to 2022, producing a 403-page report with recommendations to improve the transition from primary to secondary education in Trinidad and Tobago. This report has led to further studies on decolonization, indigenous methods, and classroom assessment, and is the basis of a proposed book on educational equity in the region. He established 3 research clusters at UWI to facilitate collaborative research on critical educational issues, the PEDIC Operating Committee, the Public Examination Group, and the Plural Notions of Fairness Group. He has won funding for multiple research projects focused on topics such as reducing male academic underachievement across several Caribbean countries, funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, evaluating the Shell STEM education program in Trinidad and Tobago, developing a pre-K-12 curriculum for Montserrat, and establishing the Psychoeducational Diagnostic and Intervention Clinic, PEDIC, at the St. Augustine Campus. PEDIC provides diagnostic services for special education needs and practical training for educators. His framework for performance standards and indicators model for classroom assessment in Trinidad and Tobago promotes formative assessment and 21st century skills aligning with both global and local educational needs. This model has been adopted by the Ministry of Education and is used for the professional development of teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Jerome Delisle. Congratulations, Professor Delisle. Dr. Ramjatan, please remain with us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Faculty of Law, the award will be presented to Dr. Justin Koo. Dr. Justin Koo's research in intellectual property law has contributed to policy development beyond the Caribbean. He was commissioned by the World Intellectual Property Organization to draft a new Copyright Act for St. Kitts and Nevis, aimed at aligning the country's laws with international copyright treaties. He has also drafted regulations to govern collective management organizations in Trinidad and Tobago. These organizations represent the rights of authors, artists, musicians, and other creators to collectively manage and license their intellectual property rights. When implemented, these regulations will have a tremendous impact on persons involved in the country's vibrant creative industry. He serves as a Tier 1 trainer at the National Intellectual Property Training Center, supporting intellectual property education. His book, The Right of Communication to the Public in EU Copyright Law, has been cited by the Court of Justice of the European Union, a rare achievement for a Caribbean scholar. And his expertise has informed legal proceedings in Trinidad and Tobago with reports referenced in cases and legislative debates. Dr. Koo's work aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals related to innovation and justice, and his publications serve as essential resources for teaching intellectual property law from a uniquely Caribbean perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Justin Koo. Congratulations, Dr. Koo, and thank you, Dr. Ramjatan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I invite Ms. Franca Mohammed, Stakeholder Engagement Manager of the Trinidad Eye Hospital, to present the award for the Faculty of Medical Sciences. Trinidad Eye Hospital is a bronze sponsor. For the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the award will be presented to Dr. Shastri Motilal. In the last 5 years, Dr. Shastri Motilal, Senior Lecturer in Family Medicine in the Department of Paraclinical Sciences, has published 34 peer-reviewed studies on critical health issues, including post-COVID-19 conditions, non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular health, diabetes, and hypertension, vaccine hesitancy, and mental health. These publications contribute significantly to understanding and addressing major public health challenges, particularly in the Caribbean. His work includes 2 systematic reviews which synthesize existing evidence and a double-blind randomized controlled trial, the gold standard in medical research for assessing treatment efficacy. Among these, a systematic review on post-COVID-19 conditions offers insights that are vital for future research design and potential interventions. Dr. Motilal also serves as a peer reviewer for both international and regional medical journals. Beyond his own research, Dr. Motilal has supervised 13 postgraduate students in the Master of Public Health MPH and Doctor of Medicine DM programs. Under his mentorship, students have conducted research on diverse topics, including healthcare workers' attitudes during COVID-19, quality of life among HIV patients, and patient satisfaction with telemedicine for chronic diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Dr. Shastri Motilal. Congratulations, Dr. Motilal, and thank you, Ms. Mohammed. I invite Mrs. Candice Solomon Watkins, Corporate Secretary of Kariri and a bronze sponsor, to present the award for the Faculty of Science and Technology. For the Faculty of Science and Technology, the award will be presented to Dr. Richard Taylor. Dr. Richard Taylor is a senior lecturer in organic materials chemistry. His research focuses on sustainable, environmentally friendly nanomaterials for applications in energy, electronics, and environmental monitoring. In the last 5 years, he has led or collaborated on 12 grant-funded projects focusing on the synthesis and characterization of transition metal chalcogenides and lanthanide metal organic frameworks. Thank you, Google. These materials are intended for use in solar cells, LEDs, electro-optical sensors, and transparent solar windows to enhance greenhouse crop yields. He has secured substantial funding for his research, including a $5 million grant from the U.S. National Science Foundation and a $300,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Energy, supporting collaborative projects at advanced research facilities like Brookhaven National Laboratory, and these grants have been integral to the in-depth exploration of the optoelectronic properties of nanomaterials. Dr. Taylor supervises a team of postgraduate students who actively contribute to these projects, with many presenting their work at international conferences. The team's research aligns with global sustainability goals addressing renewable energy needs, environmental monitoring, and biomedical applications. Let us recognize Dr. Richard Taylor. Thank you, Mrs. Solomon Watkins, and congratulations, Dr. Taylor. I now invite Mr. Suresh Sukhbir, Multi-Program Coordinator of the Food and Agriculture Organization, to join us on stage to present the next two awards. The FAO is our silver sponsor. The Faculty of Social Sciences is unique in many ways. This evening, they are doubly unique as two of their lecturers are being recognized as Faculty Research Awardees 2024. The first award will be presented to Dr. Rian Singh. The research focus of Dr. Rian Singh, senior lecturer in the Department of Management Studies, led her to delve into human resource management and organizational behavior, focusing on issues such as workplace mistreatment, dysfunctional retention, and organizational change. Her recent studies investigate how abusive supervision, workplace deviance, and job satisfaction impact employee well-being and organizational outcomes. Indeed, one of her main research areas focuses on reluctant stayers, employees who stay in their jobs because they have few options but may exhibit counterproductive behaviors. This research challenges traditional views on retention by highlighting the potential negative impacts of employees who stay unwillingly. Data was gathered from 3 separate groups, totaling 663 employees across workplaces in Trinidad. The findings show that employees who feel stuck in their jobs are more likely to act out if they experience harsh treatment from their supervisors. If they believe rules are unfair, they may act rudely toward others, and when they feel the company has broken promises, they are more likely to ignore rules or act against the organization. Dr. Singh, who aims to equip organizations with evidence-based approaches to managing complex workplace issues, makes her research relevant to anyone interested in organizational effectiveness. We'll spend a lot of time with a lot of people during the cocktail reception having a conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome and award Dr. Rian Singh. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh, may I ask, was one of the questions that you asked of 663 persons, and how did that make you feel? Perhaps? Was that one of the questions? It certainly was. Congratulations once again. Our second Faculty of Social Sciences Research Awardee is Dr. Wendell Wallace, Senior Lecturer in the Criminology and Criminal Justice Program and Coordinator of the Mediation Studies Unit. His focus has been on criminology and public safety in the Caribbean, leading to more than 30 peer-reviewed publications in the last 5 years. He addresses such topics as public perceptions of policing, crime prevention, domestic violence, and the effects of COVID-19 on public health and safety. Key studies undertaken examine mediation in citizen police conflicts, attitudes toward the death penalty, and domestic violence trends during the pandemic. His published works include the Palgrave Handbook of Caribbean Criminology and Caribbean Perspectives on Criminology and Criminal Justice, both of which contribute to a framework for Caribbean criminology. Two papers of note look at men as victims of female-perpetrated domestic violence in Trinidad and Tobago, and the lack of opportunities for male police constables in rural police departments in Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Wallace has supervised postgraduate students in criminology, criminal justice, and mediation studies, overseeing thesis projects on topics like intimate partner violence, police legitimacy, and youth crime. In addition to academic research, he has shared his work with local institutions, including the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and schools across Trinidad and Tobago, making his research accessible to the national community. Please welcome Dr. Wendell Wallace. Congratulations, and thank you, Mr. Sukbir, for obliging. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Deputy Principal, Professor Derek Chady, to present the next two awards for the Most Outstanding Researcher of the Center Institute or Unit. The first award will be presented to Dr. Priya Mohan, a senior fellow at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies. Her work stands at the intersection of development economics, climate resilience, and policy innovation, providing critical insights into the challenges facing Caribbean small island developing states. With a focus on disaster economics, her pioneering methodologies quantify the impact of hurricanes on the economies across the region, such as effects on GDP, employment, and public finances, providing data-driven strategies to enhance disaster preparedness and resilience. Her contributions to climate finance look at the gap in funding for climate adaptation and mitigation projects and identify obstacles that prevent Caribbean nations from accessing vital financial support. Indeed, her innovative financing solutions can help Caribbean governments meet their climate goals under the Paris Agreement. Further, her groundbreaking research on carbon border adjustment mechanisms has informed national discussions in Trinidad and Tobago, highlighting both risks and opportunities for decarbonization. Working with global organizations, including the International Institute for Sustainable Development and the International Labour Organization, Dr. Mohan has published high-impact studies that bridge economics, tourism, environmental science, and policy. Please join on stage Dr. Priya Mohan. Congratulations, and thank you, Dr. Mohan. And now for the Most Outstanding Graduate Researcher Award and Mentorship Award, we recognize Dr. Amanda C. Ramdas. Graduate student, Biochemical and Genomic Features of and Dr. Sefra Rampersad, Supervisor, Senior Lecturer of the Department of Life Sciences, Faculty of Science and Technology. Let's give her a round of applause as well, please. Under the supervision of Dr. Sefra Rampersad, Dr. Amanda Ramdas's research focused on creating improved techniques to use microorganisms in cleaning up hydrocarbon pollution, particularly at oil-contaminated sites in Trinidad and Tobago. The study identified indigenous microbial strains capable of breaking down hydrocarbons, laying the groundwork for developing targeted bioremediation strategies to reduce environmental damage from oil spills. This research has practical applications for environmental management and public health. By isolating microorganisms with high potential for crude oil degradation, this work could lead to more effective methods for cleaning up contaminated environments. This could lower the economic and ecological impact of hydrocarbon pollutants in the long term and improve conditions for communities affected by oil spills. The study helps scientists understand how to restore polluted ecosystems, supports sustainable environmental management, and highlights Trinidad and Tobago's biodiversity as a resource for further research. Since this research uses an interdisciplinary approach combining microbiology, chemistry, and environmental science to address pollution, and bioremediation challenges with potential industrial applications, it would be of interest to investors focused on sustainable solutions. We invite on stage graduate researcher Dr. Amanda Christine Ramdas and mentor Dr. Sefra Rampersad. It would only be appropriate that both Doctors Ramdas and Rampersad eventually are on stage together. Here we go. Splendid. Thank you, Professor Chedi, and congratulations, Dr. Ramdas and Dr. Rampersad. Well, there we are, part one done. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes, you will be transported to a place of sweet music. Well, as sweet the music as we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Titled Duraisamy, this dance piece is choreographed by Kieran Batiste, in which he also performs alongside Dana Rambaran, Genesis Puckrin, Shakira's Canterbury, Daryl Alves, Ciel Danoon, and Samaya McKellar. This performance will be a fusion of your favorite soca and soca artists, and the soca is blended with violins and drums to provide an orchestral atmosphere. Are you ready? Here's the delight. Duraisamy. Let's welcome them. Fantastic. Thank you very much to the dancers and for their choreography and presentation of douce musique. If by chance you saw a move from a television series called Party Time, I had nothing to do with it. The University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus is deeply appreciative of those sponsors who have willingly stepped forward to assist in the staging of these research awards. We're especially indebted to our returning platinum sponsor, the National Flour Mills. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to invite Mr. Ian Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer of National Flour Mills, to deliver the following remarks. Mr. Ian Mitchell.
Members of government, and a special welcome to the Honorable Colm Imbert, Minister of Finance, my good friend, Professor Rosemary Antoine, campus principal, members of the campus executive management team, staff, students, our esteemed awardees, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to join you in celebrating the exceptional achievements of tonight's awardees here at the University of the West Indies. This evening, we recognize not just your accomplishments, but the incredible dedication, perseverance, drive that each of you has displayed. And as an alumnus myself, I know how tough it is, even though I didn't go as far as you guys and achieved what you guys have achieved. So I want to congratulate you again. At National Flour Mills, we are steadfast in our commitment to supporting educational initiatives that empower future leaders and innovators. We believe that strong partnerships with institutions like the University of the West Indies are essential in advancing research, encouraging entrepreneurship, and cultivating the skills that will shape a prosperous future for our nation and region. Through our work at the UE Field Station, we aim to support animal feed research, which is intended to somehow reduce the country's dependency on imported meat. That's something we're very serious about. By working to improve local feed quality, we hope to bolster local meat production capabilities, and we're not just looking at meat, but even dairy and egg production, bringing greater self-sufficiency and resilience to Trinidad and Tobago and our food supply. Our work with animal feed is intended to somehow bring us together and help us to reduce that need to bring in more eggs, bring in meat, and produce these things here ourselves. In addition to our commitment to education, we are particularly enthusiastic about the potential for locally grown products like cassava, and our principal knows that we are very excited about cocoa to transform our food industry here in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a very rich heritage in cocoa production that offers a unique opportunity to create premium, locally produced chocolate and cocoa products. As a company, we are eager to explore and invest in local sources of ingredients that not only support agriculture, but also redefine the way we eat as a people. We see these efforts as integral to creating a sustainable and innovative food system that reflects our nation's rich resources and talent. To the awardees, you stand at the forefront of groundbreaking work, setting examples that extend far beyond the academic realm. Your research and innovation impact real-world issues, and each of you contributes to the collective progress of our nation, our region, and the world. Congratulations once again to tonight's awardees. Your achievements inspire us and reinforce our belief in the transformative power of research, education, and collaboration. May this recognition be a stepping stone for you to continue making meaningful contributions in your fields and to the wider community. Thank you for your dedication, and thank you to the University of the West Indies for cultivating such a brilliant community of future leaders. Good evening.
Thank you to Mr. Ian Mitchell, the Chief Executive Officer of National Flower Mills, and thank you for your ongoing and sterling support from the organization for the support of research emanating from the St. Augustine Campus. Thank you once again, sir. I would have expressed apologies on behalf of the Minister of Finance because of responsibilities in the day job for the start of our program and his schedule to be able to be with us this afternoon into evening. However, we are sincerely honored to have as our feature speaker the Honorable Colm Imbert, Minister of Finance for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Permit me to advise what the Minister will address in his feature remarks. He will address us on the topic, the commercialization of research outputs for entrepreneurship and economic development of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted and honored. Would you please join me in welcoming the Honorable Colm Imbert, Minister of Finance.
Good evening, all protocols observed. I just would like to let you know I won't be talking about that topic at all. I just wanted to talk about a few things. And the first thing I'd like to speak about is the changing landscape of academic research. Now, I'm sure I'm speaking to people who know much more about this than me, but the landscape of academic research has undergone significant transformation in recent years. And it's been driven by advancements in technology, shifts in funding, and let me digress. I was just asking the principal whether the University of the West Indies had a fund to fund research. And I was told there was a fund that was established many years ago, and the fund is almost depleted. I then asked the principal whether that money came from the Ministry of Education, and she said no. So clearly it came from the Ministry of Finance. So I'm happy to announce that I think the figure the principal gave me was $7 million, am I correct, more or less? It was $7 million. But I will find $10 million within the budgetary allocation of the Ministry of Finance. Since apparently this is where this all has to come from. So principal, just write me a letter. Okay? I understand there's some committee that reviews applications for grants, and I'm sure it's done properly. So just send a letter, and I will organize. Thank you. You're welcome. Now, as I said, shifts in funding. That was a shift in funding I just spoke about. And an increasing emphasis on the social impact of research. Modern approaches are characterized by a focus on collaboration, transparency, the application of research to global challenges. And I want to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. Okay? Let me just go to the middle of my notes. The integration of artificial intelligence into research necessitates a re-evaluation of traditional ethical frameworks. There's a famous case, and I was Googling it as I was speaking to the principal, and I'd like to share it with you. I found it very interesting. It involved lawyers, of course. So, in 2023, I believe, I'm reading now, the lawyer for a man suing an airline in a routine personal injury suit used ChatGPT to prepare a filing. But the artificial intelligence delivered fake cases, which the attorney then presented to the court, prompting a judge to impose sanctions, as it was one of the first cases of artificial intelligence hallucination that ever made it to a court. Now, it all sounds quite funny, but it's true. The lawyers in the case cited at least 6 cases to defend themselves. The court found the cases didn't exist, had bogus judicial decisions, fake judges, bogus courts, bogus citations, and fake airlines, believe it or not. And ChatGPT made it all up. It's a famous case. So that is one of the dangers of the use of artificial intelligence. And it's being used more and more. There's so many programs now. You have programs like Cite AI. I'm sure some of you may be delving into that. And there are serious concerns with the use of AI in research. It makes it easy. Some of these programs, you just put in a question. 5 minutes later, you get a research paper with references. You can ask it to do certain things. You can ask it to evaluate at least 100 papers. You can ask it to quote all the references. You can ask it to give a summary of the citations and so on. And as I said, it will generate it for you in 5 minutes. And if you don't know much about this, you would think this is a learned paper. And I've actually seen many researchers around the world promote the use of this particular AI, Cite AI, for the beginning of their research. Because that's where I think it's valuable, for the beginning of your research. But of course, because of the dangers that I just described with ChatGPT, it can't be the end of your research. So the concerns include bias and accountability. And these are particularly relevant in the context of research involving human subjects, where the principles of beneficence, non-maleficence, autonomy, justice must be upheld. The ethical implications of AI in research extend beyond individual studies to broader societal impacts, and this necessitates a collective approach to ethical governance in academia. So I am sure all of you are grappling with this problem with your students and also with your graduates and also with the people that you supervise. But it's here to stay. So this is part of the changing landscape of modern research. And this is why you need things like institutional review boards. You need to strengthen your peer review process. You need to strengthen the examination of what is being submitted to you. I also couldn't help listening to some of the awards and wondering, what about the practical applications of the research? I found some of the research quite fascinating. For example, the research into underperforming young men. But how has that been applied practically? Has it really helped? And I mean, no disrespect to the professor, but has this really helped young men to perform? How is it being applied by our ministries of education or educational departments across the Caribbean? And for me, the question as to whether research is of any use without practical applications is really a very complicated matter. It's been the subject of considerable debate. Some argue that research should always lead to tangible outcomes. Others contend that theoretical exploration and basic research have intrinsic value. I believe you need a mix of both. When one looks at the history of research, basic research, often defined as systematic inquiry, aimed at gaining fundamental knowledge without specific practical applications, has played a crucial role over the years in the advancement of science and technology. But as a politician, as somebody who has to get things done, I would really like to see a deeper relationship between the University of the West Indies and government departments where we can make use of the research that you're doing. I haven't heard all the awards. I haven't heard anything in management. I haven't heard anything in economics, finance, something in engineering, but what I would call more the softer side of engineering. So that this is one of the complaints with respect to the role of the University of the West Indies. How can a university help us, for example? For example, me as Minister of Finance. Do I ever get research papers or advice with respect to economic policy, with respect to issues, economic issues in the country, other than advice that may be affected by political bias? And that's the other thing I want to talk about. What is the effect of political bias on research? Because researchers will all have inclinations to favor one particular political ideology or agendas. And this bias, whether it's inherent, whether it's unconscious, whether it's ingrained, this bias will influence the design, methodology, interpretation, and dissemination of research findings. As the Minister of Finance, I am often subject to what I consider to be economic advice that is tainted by political bias. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is that people have to understand that they may be affected by unconscious bias. Let's use political commentary, for example, on mainstream media in the United States. You have Fox News. If you tune into Fox News, you know you're going to hear how wonderful the Republicans are. If you go on MSNBC, you'll hear how terrible Trump is, for example. It's very, very difficult when you look at these television stations and you listen to what the commentators are saying to discern what the facts are. You also have political bias in polling, for example. I recently had a press conference, and it was on finance matters, foreign exchange, to be particular. And I told the journalists, I said, please stick to the topic. There is a tendency when I do a press conference that I would be asked everything under the sun. So I told the journalist, stick to the topic. So we came to the last question, and the journalist asked me, can I ask you a question that has nothing to do with finance? I said, okay. And the question was, who do you think will win the US election? And that was 2 days before the US election. But funnily enough, I had read what I consider to be a learned article 1 week before. And it was on the accuracy of polls in the United States on the presidential elections. And what the researchers, these were real researchers, they had been looking at polls going back 10, 15 years, presidential polls. And what they discovered, and they looked at Trump in particular, and they looked at the polls in the 2016 election, the 2020 election, the US presidential election. And what they had determined is that Trump's supporters were less engaged and less likely to respond truthfully when they were telephoned by a pollster. And they said you have to add 3 or 4 percentage points onto the polls for Trump, because you're not going to get the truth. You're not going to know what the real situation was. And I said that, I didn't know who was going to win. So I said, look, I don't know who's going to win, but I just read that, and I think it's true. And Trump had been polling 48% at that time. He won with 52%. So you see? And you see, it's all about political bias. And again, no disrespect, but I would greatly appreciate it. There's a lot of research that I have to do as Minister of Finance, looking into the reasons why we have a foreign exchange problem, for example. I can give you some understanding of what I have to do. I met with the main commercial banks just 2 days ago. I said, tell me what's going on. We were looking at credit card usage, for example, because I had a belief that, look, one of the problems that is behind our foreign exchange issue is the use of credit cards. So I said, come and talk to me. Let me know what has been the increase in the number of active credit cards in Trinidad and Tobago over the last 5 years, and what is the type of spend by users of credit cards over the last 5 years. And believe it or not, 50% increase in the number of cards, 50% increase in spend by credit card users over the last 5 years. But I had to do that research myself. You see, if there was somebody at UWI that I could depend on to do that kind of neutral, impartial research for me, it would help me tremendously in my job as Minister of Finance. And I'm just using that as a particular specific example. But that applies to all of us. My colleague, Minister Hines, is over there. And if Minister Hines could get access to research into behavior of disaffected young men, for example, at-risk men, that will help him to design his programs in dealing with this particular difficult group of people. That is the kind of thing that I would like to see from the University of the West Indies. So that is what I wanted you to spend your $10 million on, okay? So it will come with conditions. It will come with conditions. No, I'm sorry. I made the point that there's a big argument about the use of, or the usefulness of basic research and applied research. And I agree that most of the scientific discoveries over the last 1,000 years have flowed from basic research, research that does not have practical applications. The researchers are simply reaching out to try to deal with a core issue. But I am asking you to spend that $10 million on applied research. Okay, and I must say I'm very impressed. And the university does not promote itself. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when I listen to the profiles of the awardees so far, I'm very impressed. I had no idea this was going on at UWI, and 90% of the population doesn't know either. So you need to do something about that. So that I am not going to tie you up with any more talk. I'm simply going to say, I'm glad that you caught me with this invitation. You caught me off guard. I'm glad I'm here. I'm very happy to hear the kind of brilliant work that's being done at UWI, and you just write me for that $10 million, and you'll get it the next day. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have just attended the Honorable Colm Imbert's masterclass in the ease of doing business in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. It's very simple. Accept an invitation from the campus principal, sit next to her, listen carefully to what she says she thinks may not be in an account, offer more, impose certain conditions that would be to the benefit of anyone who's holding political office, and use the empirical data from the tertiary education of prestige in the country as evidence of what is fact and not fiction. Thank you very much, Minister. Very well done. Very well done. Except for one challenge. There are some photographers from the national media present. There may be some reporters also present. It will be peculiar if there's a photo of the minister at this podium in the papers tomorrow, ascribing that he spoke on the commercialization of research outputs for entrepreneurship and economic development for the country. Unfortunately, what that will do is prompt him to have yet another letter to the editor clarifying that either ChatGPT or AI got it wrong once again. We are honored to have your presence here this evening, Minister. There are certainly some surprises in store as we continue into the next segment of our awardees, but this has been a single honor for the university, and again, a special thanks to you, Minister Colm. The next awards recipients will be presented with a monetary prize along with their plaques and certificates. And we now invite campus principal Professor Rosemary Antoine to make the next 6 presentations. And could Mr. Hugo Blanco, resident representative of the UNDP and gold sponsor, please join Professor Antoine for the first 2 awards. Thank you, Principal. Thank you, Mr. Blanco. There are 2 awardees in the category of the Most Promising Early Career Researcher Award. We welcome back on stage Dr. Priya Mohan of the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies. Just a few minutes ago, Dr. Mohan accepted her award as the most outstanding researcher at a center or institute or unit, and I'm sure Sir Arthur Lewis would have been proud of your achievements, and as we all do, wish you even greater future success. Congratulations, Dr. Mohan. Congrats. Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Mohan. Our second awardee in this category is Dr. O'Shane Blake, a senior lecturer in the Department of Chemical Engineering at the Faculty of Engineering. Geomechanics research, a hybrid field encompassing geology, geophysics, and engineering, is relatively new in the Caribbean. His research delves into reservoir characterization, unconventional reservoirs, geothermal energy, carbon capture and sequestration or storage, mud volcanoes, well bore stability analysis, static and dynamic elastic properties, deformation bands, and fault zones. And his contributions will support the advancement of sustainable practices in energy security and environmental management. Dr. O'Shane Blake has produced a substantial body of work, including numerous publications in peer-reviewed journals such as Rock Mechanics and Rock Engineering and the International Journal of Rock Mechanics and Mining Science. Dr. Blake has received significant research grants to investigate carbon dioxide injection effects on reservoir integrity and to monitor mud volcanoes in Trinidad, including over $4 million TT in funding from the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. These projects aim to enhance the safety and efficiency of carbon storage and improve volcanic hazard monitoring. Dr. Blake supervises graduate students working in related areas, and this guidance prepares students to contribute to fields relevant to the energy and environmental sectors in the Caribbean. We congratulate and award Dr. O'Shane Blake. Congratulations. Best Team Research. The award for the Best Team Research goes to Dr. Ricardo Clark and Dr. Zitaz Chedi and team. Just making sure I'm in the right part on the script. And this will be presented with this award for their Sustainable Futures project. This groundbreaking initiative focuses on creating stronger, more sustainable communities across the Caribbean by addressing important challenges in public health, energy, infrastructure, and agriculture. It supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and meets key needs within CARICOM. In public health, their aim is to prevent cardiovascular diseases by identifying people at high risk through data-driven models. In energy, the team is exploring solar and wind power as alternatives to fossil fuels, helping the Caribbean move toward clean, affordable energy. With regard to infrastructure, these researchers are studying Trinidad's unique soils to improve building practices that can withstand local environmental conditions. They also look at water issues, creating models to predict future water levels in the country's reservoirs so communities can plan better for droughts. In like manner, the agriculture team is working with cocoa farmers to test sustainable drying techniques that use solar energy to improve crop quality and support farmers' incomes. Sustainable Futures is paving the way for a greener, healthier Caribbean and offers a unique chance for investors to support meaningful change within and outside of the Caribbean. Please welcome this remarkable team on stage, Dr. Ricardo Clark, Dr. Zitaz Chedi, and team. Congratulations all, and thank you, Mr. Blanco, and thank you, Dr. Clark, Dr. Chedi, and thank you to the team members. I now invite Mr. Brent Benjamin, Operations Manager of Extra Foods and a Gold sponsor, to join Principal Antoine in presenting the next two awards. The Most Outstanding Regional or International Research Project. The award for the Most Outstanding Regional or International Research Project goes to Dr. Sandeep B. Maharaj and team for the project Connecting Climate Minds a global project that brings together experts to study the effect of climate change on mental health. Led by Imperial College London with help from the University of the West Indies and other partners, this project connects researchers, policymakers, healthcare providers, and people who have faced mental health challenges due to climate change by building a strong, supportive community across regions. Connecting Climate Minds is creating a plan for future research that will help protect mental health and guide climate action. With funding of $2.7 million from the Wellcome Trust, Connecting Climate Minds has gained international attention, and its goal is to ensure that policies are based on real experiences from people affected by climate change. The project hopes to improve mental health support for those facing climate-related challenges and inspire action toward a healthier planet. Dr. Maharaj was regrettably unable to be here in person to receive his award. Dean Professor Hariharan Sitharaman and Mr. Kishwa Maharaj, Sandeep's father, will receive the award on his behalf. Please join us on stage. Congratulations. Thank you to Dr. Maharaj and team. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the award committee's selection for special recognition, Most Outstanding International or Regional Research Project. We salute Mr. Andreas Antonopoulos and Ms. Debolina Paul for their film Chini, an ethnographic project which examines the Indian cultural heritage of Trinidad and Tobago. This documentary combines traditional and contemporary elements within the documentary form, blending theoretical and practical approaches to expand the field of experimental ethnography. Research involved interviews with descendants of early Indian immigrants, collecting memories and the stories passed down through generations. Participants included Dharmi Deo, a centenarian recalling her family's efforts to preserve their language and customs, and Dr. Raj Kumar Krishna Prasad, who shared his mother's experiences as an immigrant child. These accounts provided insights into the early lives and challenges faced by the Indian community. Chini also explores cultural expressions such as dance and musical instrument making, highlighting their role in preserving heritage. The choreography combines Indian classical styles with contemporary techniques influenced by international choreographers to reflect the cultural fusion within the Trinidadian Indian community. Dance is used as a tool to convey historical and cultural narratives, and in its approach, Chini adopts a decolonizing perspective, challenging traditional and potentially stereotypical portrayals of Caribbean Indian life that may be influenced by colonial perspectives. To present an authentic view, the film does not use any voiceover, so the stories of participants stand on their own. Remarkably, Chini was produced without any organizational funding. Yet it has received regional and international recognition screenings at festivals including the Doxa Documentary Film Festival in Canada and the Dhaka International Film Festival in Bangladesh, and won the Andrew Laszlo Award in Hungary. Let's congratulate Mr. Andreas Antonopoulos and Ms. Debolina Paul. There's more. Congratulations. And thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you, Mr. Antonopoulos and Ms. Paul. I invite Mr. Dexter Riley of United Independent Petroleum Marketing Company Limited, UNIPET, to co-present the next 2 awards. UNIPET is also a gold sponsor. Our first award is for the Most Productive Research Department. That award goes to the Department of Basic Veterinary Sciences. And the award goes to DBVS for its important contributions to animal and public health, food safety, and environmental protection in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. In the last 5 years, DBVS researchers have produced 257 publications, including 109 papers in respected peer-reviewed journals. This research has earned significant funding, over 12 million TT dollars from major international donors like the European Union and the US Department of Agriculture. During the COVID-19 pandemic, DBVS established national testing capabilities and launched the Climate Change and Health Leaders Fellowship, which trains professionals to build health systems that can handle climate impacts. The team also works on improving food safety in the poultry industry, protecting livestock from diseases, and controlling the spread of diseases that can transfer from animals to humans. Their One Health approach includes studying wildlife diseases, which is important for understanding and preventing health risks to people. As such, the work they do not only advances veterinary science, but also strengthens public health, food security, and environmental health regionally. I invite the head of department, Professor Venkatasan Sundaram, and staff on stage. Folks, there's room on the left and there's room on the right. Congratulations, Professor Sundaram. Congratulations to your staff as well. And next, the award for the Most Productive Research Institute, Center, or Unit goes to the Seismic Research Center. Over the last 5 years, the SRC has conducted groundbreaking studies on volcanic deformation, seismic hazards, and risk mitigation, publishing extensively in high-impact scientific journals. Key projects include in-depth analyses of the 2021 La Soufrière eruption, the findings from which have significantly improved eruption forecasting models and contributed to global volcanic science. Its multidisciplinary research encompasses geophysical monitoring, hazard assessments, and community resilience building. Collaborative projects such as the Volcano Ready Communities Project in St. Vincent underscore the Center's commitment to enhancing regional safety and preparedness, empowering communities near active volcanoes through strategic education and training. Its MyHaz citizen science system is a tool which lets everyday people report hazards they observe, making communities more aware of risks. These examples illustrate SRC's ability to integrate public engagement with scientific advancements to foster a proactive culture of risk awareness. The SRC's achievements have positioned it as an essential partner with proven expertise and an innovative approach to seismic research and environmental safety. We congratulate and invite Director Dr. Erosilla Joseph and staff and invite them to join us on stage from the Seismic Research Center. Congratulations and thank you. Just so the presentation includes the plaque. The plaque is as great as the certificate because the certificate has an envelope at the back of it. Very good. Our thanks to you, Mr. Riley, and Principal Antoine, thank you very much for assisting in the presentation of the 6 awards. Ladies and gentlemen, creative talent exists and abounds here at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus. We will present to perform for you a degree student in musical arts in the Department of Creative and Festival Arts, as well as a noted national performer. And perhaps fittingly, his performance is The Impossible Dream. Will you please welcome to entertain and perform for you, Stephen John.
Good afternoon, evening, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when my arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to be willing to fight without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know that I'll always be true to that glorious quest, and my heart will lay peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. best, and the world would be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable, the unreachable, the unreachable star. And I'll always dream the impossible dream. And yes, I'll reach the unreachable star. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, just for that principle, you can move the request to the minister from 10 up to $11 million. Congratulations. Thank you very much to Steve and John. Well done. Study by day, study by night, rehearse by day, rehearse by night. We are at the point in our proceedings, ladies and gentlemen, where we present the Principal's Research Awards. Presenting the next 4 awards will be Principal Antoine and Mr. Ian Mitchell. The Hurricane and Earthquake Alleviation Research HARE Award goes to the Director of the School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Carla Georges, and her team. Most disaster relief efforts focus on human needs, yet animals also face significant impacts. Animals provide companionship, food security, and income, making their welfare critical to the livelihoods and well-being of their owners. For that reason, the university's research team collaborated with the Caribbean Animal Health and Veterinary Public Health Network to develop disaster-resilient strategies for the Caribbean's agricultural sector, specifically the animal and livestock industries. This project seeks to strengthen disaster risk reduction in agriculture by fostering collaboration between plant and animal health sectors. During the 2021 Soufriere volcano eruption, the team led by UESVM coordinated efforts across 12 countries, delivering 50,000 gallons of water and 35 tons of food to support animal welfare in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let us welcome and award Dr. Carla Georges and team. Wow. All you do, don't block that large... right. Congratulations. Congratulations and thank you to Dr. Georges and Team VetMed. There are a few cameras just above, so hold your positions for a few more photos. Wonderful, all done, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, receiving special mention for innovation under the HARE Award category is Mr. Manoj Colm. The interdisciplinary research of this PhD scholar in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, combines elements of machine learning, parallel processing, and geosciences. It may one day help to forecast many different natural disasters, potentially saving lives and protecting communities. His current focus is on improving the accuracy of earthquake forecasts through the development of the innovative chaotic chimp-based African vulture optimization algorithm, CCAVOA. This is an algorithm used by machine learning analyses earthquake data. This is an algorithm used by machine learning that analyzes earthquake data by mimicking the behavior of animals searching for food to help the model identify the most critical data points and make more accurate predictions. Please join us on stage, Mr. Manoj Colm. Congratulations. We're good. Here's what. Get the picture from that guy. Good. Our next two awardees are receiving the Hare Certificate of Recognition Award. And this is where it gets very special. Mr. Keon Maitland is a student of Queen's Royal College. In response to the Caribbean's vulnerability to hurricanes, Keon Maitland's research proposes developing circular, hurricane-resistant housing capable of withstanding Category 5 winds. The circular design deflects wind around the structure, reducing pressure imbalances and enhancing stability. This shape reduces material costs by minimizing the amount needed for construction. Keon's circular housing concept has the potential to reduce damage from hurricanes in the Caribbean, providing a cost-effective and resilient solution for communities at risk from extreme weather events. And our other recipient is Mr. Joshua Mirage, a student of Fatima College. In his research, Joshua reviewed the causes and effects of hurricanes and earthquakes and emphasized solutions that support community resilience. These included the role of early warning systems, including advanced forecasting models and seismic sensors to provide timely alerts that help protect lives and reduce damage. In his focus on resilient infrastructure design, he recommended building practices tailored to withstand extreme conditions. And examples included elevated buildings in flood-prone areas, wind-resistant structures, and base isolation systems in earthquake-prone regions. Please welcome on stage these enterprising young men for whom the future is limitless. Mr. Keon Maitland from QRC and Mr. Joshua Mirage from Fatima College. They will receive certificates of recognition. Okay, guys. Don't go too far. We need a group shot with both of you. So after he does his, then you come back on stage. Okay, so by all means come together. Right, we'll just assemble there. And gentlemen, in today's world, once you have a plaque in your hand, there's a word smile that comes along with it. Thank you. Well done. Congratulations to both of these youngsters. As we continue with the awards, we are pleased to announce the Principals Award for Most Impactful Community Research. That award goes to Professor Shirin Hack of the Department of Physics in the Faculty of Science and Technology. The Women in Science for Hope WISH Foundation, founded by Professor Shirin Hack in 2020, offers educational resources and hands-on scientific experiences to foster self-esteem, ambition, and curiosity in children who may otherwise lack access to these opportunities. WISH has achieved awards from the International Astronomical Union IAU and the Women and Girls in Astronomy program. In 2022, the IAU awarded WISH a €4,000 grant, enabling the foundation to launch Our Caribbean Sky, a project that introduced children to astronomy through a custom-designed kit complete with planispheres, sundials, and a book authored by Professor Hack. Last year, 2023, WGAP granted $1,000 to support WISH's Binoculars Stepping Stones to Eyes in the Skies initiative, which provides binoculars and astronomy presentations to children's homes. This project was for presentation at the prestigious American Astronomical Society meeting in January of this year. Professor Hack, congratulations. Please join us on stage. Just want to clarify. Okay, thank you. Next on stage, ladies and gentlemen, to receive the Principal's Special Innovation Award is a gentleman who developed innovative tracking solutions to streamline critical university processes, enhance transparency, and immensely improve our efficiency and effectiveness. His thesis, Tracking Solution, and HR Promotion Tracking Solution are both in alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and therefore contribute to environmental sustainability through reduced paper use and lowered carbon emissions. We especially note the potential for their application in companies and industries beyond higher education. Receiving the Principal's Special Innovation Award, please welcome to the stage Mr. Nishan Rampersad. Congratulations and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I did mention earlier that the judges had a hard time in their deliberations. The Principal's Award for Best Researcher will be jointly held by a professor of the Faculty of Science and Technology and a professor of the Faculty of Social Sciences. It is with great honor that I invite you to join in welcoming to the stage the first distinguished recipient of the Principal's Award for Best Researcher 2024. A round of applause, please. Professor Adesh Ramsubag. I will now present to you the citation presenting Professor Adesh Ramsubag. Professor Adesh Ramsubag of the Faculty of Science and Technology is a distinguished researcher whose highly acclaimed work bridges microbiology and biotechnology with transformative impacts on human health, environmental sustainability, and agricultural resilience, in fact. He has led more than 86 peer-reviewed publications and supervised in excess of 90 postgraduate and undergraduate research projects. It would also appear that 27 is Professor Ramsubag's lucky number, his lucky number. Don't use what I do in another place with 27. Professor Ramsubag's lucky number has over 2,700 citations. At least 27 of his publications have been cited in a minimum of 27 times. In the past 5 years, Professor Ramsubag has been awarded competitive research grants, including a $50,000 UNDP grant for sargassum-based biostimulants, and 446,000 euro from Interreg for seaweed valorization, fueling breakthroughs in sustainable crop production and environmental remediation. His pioneering work on antibiotic adjuvants has resulted in 2 patent applications, while collaborative research has highlighted new treatment avenues for diseases carried by emerging vectors in Trinidad and Tobago, and innovative solutions for petroleum bioremediation using native microbes. Professor Adesh Ramsubag's projects, grounded in sustainable innovation, span vital areas in human health and environmental welfare. Key accomplishments include identifying over a dozen novel compounds from indigenous bacteria with potential pharmaceutical applications, including 2 patented adjuvants aimed at counteracting antibiotic resistance via histidine kinase inhibition. These discoveries are advancing to preclinical trials, showcasing a strong potential for medical breakthroughs in combating resistant pathogens. In agriculture, too, his exploration of local seaweed species as plant biostimulants has shown exceptional promise. Studies indicate that extracts from sargassum and ascophyllum seaweeds improve crop growth, yield, and disease resistance in tropical conditions. A new sargassum-based formulation is already positioning this research for economic impact. Environmental health projects reveal high levels of fecal pollution in this country's waters and underscore the presence of pathogenic organisms in air affected by Sahara dust. This work underscores the urgency for updated public health measures in Caribbean communities. Additionally, studies on mosquitoes and picornaviruses inform policies against emerging infectious diseases with significant epidemiological implications. Finally, petroleum bioremediation research has revealed local microorganisms' effectiveness in mitigating oil spills. These projects together present a holistic approach to pressing global challenges and opportunities for investment in impactful solutions for sustainable development. Professor Ramsubag's contributions have earned accolades, including the UE Vice-Chancellor's Award for Excellence and the SABGA Award in Science and Technology. We now invite Professor Antoine to come forward and present Professor Ramsubag with the award for his impactful research and mentorship as he continues in his quest to advance scientific knowledge, foster capacity building, and address critical challenges in health, agriculture, and the environment. Thank you, Professor Ramsubag. Congratulations to you. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned, this is a joint award. Therefore, it's my privilege to invite you to join in welcoming to the stage the other esteemed recipient of the Principal's Award for Best Researcher 2024, With a round of applause, Professor Roger Hossain. It is my pleasure to present to you Professor Roger Hossain. Professor Roger Hossain is a professor of economics and a recognized leader in economic research for Caribbean development. For over 2 decades, he has focused on advancing economic resilience in small island developing states through studies on trade vulnerability, regional integration, and environmental sustainability. Leading impactful projects like UWE's Trade and Economic Development Unit, TDU, National Conversations Seminar Series, Professor Hossain has engaged key stakeholders and informed policies on topics such as foreign exchange crises and the effects of Venezuelan migration. In addition, he serves as director of the Shore Foundation, an initiative that supports local communities in environmental restoration through substantial food and seedling distributions. Professor Hossain is focused on exploring critical socio-economic and trade development issues, especially for small island developing states like CARICOM nations. Recent projects have looked at trade dynamics, economic diversification, and sustainable development policies, producing impactful publications in top peer-reviewed journals, as well as an innovative vertical index of direct competition to assess trade strategies between CARICOM and major players like China and India, which offers valuable insights into international trade competition. He has authored over 60 peer-reviewed papers and 10 books, and co-authored critical books on CARICOM's trade and development issues and the socio-economic impact of the Venezuelan migrant crisis on Trinidad and Tobago, addressing the resource challenges facing SIDS. His strong interest in economic resilience led him to analyze COVID-19 policies' effects on female entrepreneurship, adding a gendered perspective to economic recovery strategies. Other studies delve into structural shifts in exports within CARICOM, presenting policy recommendations to enhance regional trade efficiency and mitigate the economic effects of Dutch disease in Trinidad and Tobago. More recently, Professor Hossain completed a socio-economic assessment for Pariah Fuel Trading Company's fence line communities, supporting the design of their corporate social responsibility interventions. Professor Hossain has secured significant funding for regional research in renewable energy and trade development strategies, and has earned accolades including a nomination to represent the Dutch islands as a commissioner. Through his mentorship of more than 70 postgraduate students, Professor Hossain is guiding the next generation of economic leaders and continues to shape key policies for Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region. We now invite Professor Antoine to come forward and present Professor Roger Hossain with the award for his impactful research and mentorship as he continues in his quest to advance knowledge and foster capacity building and address critical challenges. Let's say congratulations to our 2 top researchers. Thank you, Professor Hossain. Thank you, Professor Antoine. Now, as our evening of recognition and celebration draws to a close, I invite Professor Duraisamy Saravanakumar, Director of Graduate Studies and Research, to deliver our vote of thanks. Prof. Sarah.
Pleasant evening, everyone. All protocol observed, as established by our Master of Ceremony. I extend my congratulations to all our research awardees. Indeed, it was a difficult task for the Research Award Selection Committee, as almost all applications were of that quality and exhibiting high standards. Today, the best of the best got selected and awarded. And in some categories, we had to present joint awards. This shows how difficult the task was. These awards now have created a competition among the departments and faculties to see Who is going to receive the most number of awards? I like the healthy competition going forward. Those who did not receive awards, the campus has noted your hard work and research contributions, as mentioned by our Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Professor Antoine. They do not go unnoticed. Keep pushing for research excellence, and you will be there too, and wishing you all the best for next year. This is the first time that we are hosting Principals Research Awards Conference, where all awardees will be doing the presentation tomorrow at the Teaching and Learning Center, starting from 9 a.m., and I ask you to join with us. Also, if you go to the Research Awards website, you will be able to see the Research Awards and the conference booklet, where you will be able to know about the research of all of the awardees, as well as the abstracts that they are going to present tomorrow. In addition to that, we're also going to have an exclusive session on the process map to develop the campus research agenda that will guide our researchers and the graduate students, policymakers, and funding agencies for next 5 years from 25 to 2030 that aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and, of course, our nations and regions' policy documents. Next, I place my deep sense of gratitude to all sponsors, especially National Flour Mills, United Nations Development Program, UNIPED, and Extra Foods for their generous contribution and support for this year's Principals Research Awards and Conference. Research is the best kept secret in the UWI, and it is time that we convert that for the benefit of wider community, country, and region, and at the same time for revenue generation and sustainability of the university. I take this opportunity to convey to our public sector organizations, development agencies, private sector organizations, especially SMEs, that our doors are open for collaboration and to provide support for your research needs, as stressed by our PVC and campus principal, Professor Antoine, in the recent TV interviews. With these closing remarks, I wholeheartedly thank the Honorable Finance Minister, Colm Imbert, for his inspiring future address, not on how research outputs should be commercialized and converted for entrepreneurship opportunities, but for presenting his research to us on changing dimensions of academic research and how he did a research on the credit cards and how the increase in credit cards have happened in the country. And also I'm pleased to hear that our finance minister has announced that the grant will increase from $7 million to $10 million. And if we had known this secret, we would have invited you for many years ago. And, and now ours would be close to $25 million or $50 million. Probably we missed that. But hereafter, we will be inviting you for all our programs going forward, Minister. Thank you so much. And also, I can say that because of the Principals Research Awards, we got $3 million more, and I can add that as the research outputs of the Principals Research Awards and the conference. Thank you so much, sir. Also, my special thanks to you for acknowledging the UWI St. Augustine Campus in the recent budget speech and the government's commitment to the UWI St. Augustine Campus. Once again, thank you so much. Along the similar line, I express my sincere thanks to the Honorable Minister of National Security for being here amidst your busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir. I take this opportunity again to express my sincere thanks and gratefulness to our ambassadors and high commissioners and campus executive management team and all other distinguished dignitaries and guests for taking time off from the busy schedule and joining this evening with us to celebrate and honor our researchers. My closing remarks will be incomplete if I do not acknowledge the hard-working team of my colleagues, because I am here only because of the team and it's not me alone. So my colleagues from the Marketing and Communications Director, Ms. Gregario, and her team, fully supported by Ms. Chanel Glasgow, and everyone. If I read all the names, I think we are not going to end this program. So the whole team from the Marketing and Communications, and from the Office of the Principal, Dr. Alisa Ali and Ms. Patterson, and the whole team, and from Library, Ms. Alison Doland, and other colleagues for displaying the UV-made products, Deputy Deans, Graduate Studies, Institute and Department Heads and the Directors, Campus IT, Security Services, Research Award Selection Committee, everyone, including my office colleagues, Mr. Joel Jordan, who has been on it all the time. So thank you so very much. If I have missed anyone, please accept my apologies. This one I wanted to say at the end, Principal, thank you so much for everything that you do, that you advocate, and that you lead to inspire and motivate our researchers. Thank you, one and all, especially to our Master of Ceremony for making this evening so grandeur, and may God bless all. Thank you.
Oh, thanks to you, Professor Duraisamy Saravanakumar. Thank you very much, sir. Well, we're not done yet. Not quite. Just a couple items that I need to share with you. First, ladies and gentlemen, when we come to the close of the proceedings this evening, we want to remind you that the true essence of research isn't confined to discussions within these walls. We celebrate achievements outside. As you make your way out of the auditorium, you'll have the chance to see some of our research come to life. We invite you to visit the exhibitions and booths just beyond these doors, where you can explore our very own UE-made showcase, highlighting our UE Seal-It and our organic pesticides. Ask questions at the booths. They want to chat with you. You'll also find our tropical agriculture display that supports sustainable farming across the Caribbean, and our Cocoa Research Center's exhibit, an ode to one of our region's richest resources. And these displays are just a glimpse of the pioneering work that will be featured at tomorrow's conference. So take this opportunity to experience firsthand the passion and progress driving the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus. Housekeeping notes now as we come to the close of this wonderful evening of celebration and recognition. I beg your indulgence to remain seated for just a few minutes as we arrange for a group photograph on stage. We will be inviting the Honorable Minister of Finance, along with our principal, along with all of tonight's awardees, to capture this special moment with a few photographs on stage. You've got to see them, right? And we thank you for your indulgence. When you are preparing to exit the hall, you are asked to do so through the doors at the aft of the auditorium. That is to the back. Aft, behind, back, that way. Yes, the ushers will also guide you, and as you retire outside, there are refreshments for your delight. Our student ushers will guide you. Now it's photo time. Minister, we need you on stage. Principal on stage. It comes with the role and responsibility. Considering you predicted the potential of a victory in the United States, well, we won't ask you for a prediction for 2025. We'll just leave that one out for tonight. All awardees and recipients, teams, and those directly in receipt of awards, please join us on stage. Awardees, please come forward. Awardees, please come forward. Awardees, please come forward. All of our awardees, please join us on stage. Thank you.
Basil.